be educated, but I'm so frustrated.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Music Mindset channel. Man, you know what? What you know about vinyl records? They're waxed, you know what I'm saying? Songs that are on wax. We got our CDs and MP3s and all this different stuff like that. Well, what do you know about the history of how we got here and stuff like that? That's what I'm gonna talk about tonight. Got a long ways to go, but I just wanna let you know, I just looking in my garage and I started looking in some of the old stuff like, you know, Pat Benatar and the Barcades and, you know, Dinah Ross and Billy Ocean. What Billy Ocean? Man, I ain't heard nothing from Billy Ocean in years and stuff like that. But I got it all on wax in my garage and stuff like that. Wife been complaining I need to clean that stuff up. Tonight we're gonna get right into where vinyl records came from and where they went and where they are today and stuff like that. It's still around. Music wouldn't be music if we didn't have the vinyl records. Y'all know that, right? So go with me. Let's have some fun with this. Hang in there. Yeah, once upon a time, music was more than just a sound. It was an experience. It lived on these shiny black discs called vinyl records. Today, we're diving into a journey and a story of how music traveled from vinyl to where we are now. What actually happened to vinyl? And why are we still holding on in our hearts and hands? Well, the first commercially available vinyl record was released in 1930 by RCA Victor.
I love you truly.
It was a single featuring I Love You Truly on one side and Chopin's Funeral March on the other. But coming to the 70s, as a teenager growing up in South Florida, my weekends weren't complete without a trip to the flea market, especially when I visited my uncle in Miami. The music booths were the crown jewel. There you'd find stacks of records showcasing the latest hits. You might see funk and R&B records from Parliament Funkadelic, Marvin Gaye, and Earth, Wind & Fire, or depending on where you were, something like Fleetwood Mac's Rumors or Bee Gees and stuff like that, Saturday Night Fever, sitting front and center on the shelf, reminding everyone that disco ruled the airwaves. Unlike the big record stores, the flea markets had this vibe, a place where you could hang out, flip through vinyl, and soak up the magic of music discovery. And the album covers, y'all know what I'm talking about. They weren't just packaging, they were windows into the artist's world. Who could forget the flamboyant outfits of Earth, Wind & Fire on the covers? Or maybe for some of you rockers, the surreal art of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. It was through these covers and the liner notes that we learned everything we needed to know about the artists, their stories, and their creative journey. Oh yeah, I'd be slacking if I didn't mention that they were selling bongs and incense on the side too. Man, I'm old school, man. Back then, it wasn't like today where all you have to do is go to YouTube or the internet to find all you want to know about your favorite singer and even purchase or download the song. Know what I mean? All your info came from what you could hold in your hand. Yeah, y'all, it was all about the vinyl. But then there was also the 8-track, which actually came out in 1965. It eventually became popular alongside vinyl, but some of y'all remember how that 8-track got on your nerves. Mainly because they'd easily get jammed, and you could not rewind in the middle of a song. You had to wait till the end of the song and click back. And cassette tapes, which unbelievably actually came out in 1963, but then they were used for some other type of business stuff at that time. They were around, but boy, y'all know what the complaint was about them. Yep. By the 1970s, music had become very portable. You could carry your favorite tunes anywhere, whether it was with you in your car or on your Walkman, which Sony introduced first in 1979, by the way. All of these formats gave us a variety and convenience. But vinyl was still the king of sound quality and the sheer joy of listening, if you didn't get it scratched. Skip. But there was something magical about lifting the needle on the record and hearing that soft crackle before the music began. Oh, ain't that a little refreshing? Record stores, especially Peaches Records, a chain that opened its first store in Atlanta in 1975, were amazing though. They had rows upon rows of vinyl, but you couldn't just hang out and chat like you could at the flea market. The flea market felt alive, like a community. You could find that uncommercialized, real music vibe. Some of y'all probably got your own place like that. Fast forward to the 1980s. At this time, I had learned a lot listening to the music of the 70s and the early 80s. And by now, I could play a little bit of piano and sing a little. And man, I'll never forget that day I walked into Peaches Records and saw my first record I recorded on vinyl sitting on the shelf. You couldn't tell me nothing. I had done it as far as I was concerned. It was surreal to see my name on that cover, nestled alongside all the other legends. The clerk was in shock and didn't believe it was me until I pulled out my ID to prove it. That moment wasn't just about music, it was about being part of the vinyl legacy. Maybe I wasn't a superstar, but I was on vinyl. By this time, 8-tracks were dead. Record companies stopped using them in 1982. It was not just mainly cassettes and vinyl. I think DJs were the real big reason why vinyl was still hanging on. But by the 90s, CDs came along and flipped the whole script. Compact discs promised convenience and durability. Did you know that the very first CD pressed in the US was Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA in 1984? But yeah, I had my doubts about CDs and then DVDs. It just seemed too fragile. Just one scratch could ruin everything. Unlike vinyl or cassettes that you could just somehow use cellophane tape to rig up or MacGyver them back to life. Y'all remember this? I know y'all know what I mean. But somehow, and surprisingly, CDs lasted much longer than I expected and dominated the market through the 2000s. But then the real digital age arrived. MP3s and platforms like Napster disrupted and devastated the industry in the late 90s and early 2000s. CDs had met their max. Napster launched in 1999, allowing people to share music for free, much to the chagrin of record companies. Suddenly, music was intangible, stored in files rather than physical formats. And by 2001, Apple's iPod changed the game completely. Cassettes were obsolete, everything else was falling off, and sadly, even with the use of DJs, little by little vinyl records began to fade into the background. Even DJs were now using all these new methods. But vinyl wasn't done yet. In 2007, Record Store Day was started and launched to celebrate independent record stores and vinyl culture. Held on one Saturday, typically the 3rd, every April and every Black Friday in November, the day brings together fans, artists, and thousands of independent record stores around the world. This event features exclusive vinyl releases, live performances, and collectors' gatherings. It's become a worldwide phenomenon, reminding us of the unique charm of vinyl. Record stores and vinyl and stuff like that were back, if only slightly. People began to again appreciate the warm, unassuming sound of vinyl, that analog beauty that you just can't replicate with the digital. Did you know that in 2020, vinyl sales outpaced CD sales for the first time since the 80s? And real die-hard collectors will pay a premium for a rare find. The Beatles' White Album, for example, has fetched up to $790,000 at auctions. Y'all, for me, vinyl is more than just a format. It's all my childhood and teenage memories pressed in the wax. I still have a garage full of old records, pop, R&B, jazz, classical, and it's a treasure trove of stories, or cockroach hiding places if you ask my lady Roz. Groups like The Temptations, Cameo, The Commodores, Queen, Led Zeppelin, and Chicago, and people like that, all of them remind us of a time when music wasn't just something you heard. It was something you held in your hands, displayed in your room, on your bedroom walls, and cherished. When's the last time you seen that? Man, vinyl may seem like a dinosaur today, but its spirit lives on. It's a testament to the power of music to connect us across time. Whether you're streaming or spinning a record, music's ability to move us is never changing. So what happened to vinyl? It's just kind of went out of style a little bit, but it's still here, reminding us where we've been and how far we've come. Yeah, man, a lot of time has passed and stuff like that. Vinyl records, I don't think they ever go out of style because that's what it's all about. I mean, it may not sell as well as they used to sell, but there's always going to be some people like you probably that want to hear it on wax, man. Just the nostalgia. You don't want to fool around with the pushing the buttons and downloading and connecting this and all that different stuff. I hope you guys appreciate that and come back to the Music Mindset channel. I'm Mr. Mindset. This is where we do this type of stuff. Some of everything if it's related to music. See you guys next time.